Welcome to Successfully Simple, the creative entrepreneur's guide to working less and living more. I'm your host, Erin Flynn, and I've been running my creative business since 2012, and now I'm sharing everything I can to help you along your journey. On this podcast, we'll be diving into ways that you can find the support that you need, simplify your business so that you can work less while still hitting your goals, create a signature service with consistent income, systematize your business so that it runs smoothly, and sell without feeling sleazy. Let's dive into today's episode. Hey everyone, welcome back. Erin here, and today I am joined by Tiffany Tolliver. Tiffany is the owner of the Emma Rose Agency and is a rebrand and launch strategist who specializes in income-generating web design for service-based womenpreneurs. She has helped thousands of women in business rediscover their passion by refining how they see themselves online. Now, as a college dropout and a single teenage mother, she has a deep passion for helping women see their true value and not compromising on the revenue goals that they have for themselves. She believes that revenue is just a resource to help others in need, and that by charging your worth, you can serve your community without stress. I am so excited to dive into today's episode. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. I'm excited too.
All right. I think the first thing that we should address is why are consistent clients so difficult for web designers and other creative business owners to get?
Yeah, I think the problem is rooted in not having a holistic approach to the way that you're marketing your business. I was that person who was like, all right, I need to get 2-3 clients a month, right? And I need to make this amount of money. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ramp up and talk about my stuff. And then when I get the clients, I go and work. Right. But what that does is it creates inconsistency in the way that people are hearing about your business, because we don't know, like I get a few new followers every day. Right. And so we don't know when our customers are coming to us. You don't know when someone is just following you or following you for a couple of months or years. Right. And so it's up to us as creative business owners to always be talking about our services as if there are new people coming into whatever funnel that we're attracting them into, Instagram, our email marketing, whatever. Treat it like it's the first time that they're ever hearing about us, right? And so I think that me personally and the people that I coach, they've been able to see consistent sales because we just never stop, quite frankly, right? It's not a run yourself ragged type of thing, but it's the identification that we are service-based brands. So we are operating to be of service to someone else. So that means that has to reflect in how I talk about myself and how frequently I promote my business.
Yeah, totally. I think that we get this mindset, like you said, of like, I'm promoting now, and then it's like radio silence for like 3 months or 6 months. And then we're like, oh, now I feel weird because I have to sell. It's something we kind of fall out of practice as opposed to talking about it constantly, which we should be, because we should be constantly trying to pull in those new clients. So I think, that's 100% spot on in my experience too, is when you are not talking about it, people are just, of course, not going to hire you. Like it just, they don't magically know that you're accepting clients or will take that step to book you.
And I think it's also an internal, it's a domino effect, right? So when you're promoting, you get clients and then you're doing the work, right? But when you're actually doing the work, if you can't market and do the work, there's an internal process problem, right? That there needs to be some tweaking in the way that you work, or how many days you work, or how many hours that you work, so that you're always in a consistent, not constant, rather, position to feel whole enough to actually go about promoting your business. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes total sense. So would you like kind of way that you would balance client work and marketing? Do you have any magical tips around that? Because I think that is so difficult.
So for me, this isn't a cookie cutter method at all. Like it's not popular either. So I don't plan out my content, right? Because it doesn't fit my life. And so the quick and dirty answer to that is we have to pay attention to how our specific businesses are ran. right? I think there are some underlying foundational principles that I can talk about. But before that, I think that we're not paying attention as creative business owners, enough attention rather, to how our business performs. We're so inundated with helping other people and making sure that they are performing at their highest level that we fail to internally look inside of our businesses, look at the analytics, look at how we're actually performing and make assessments and adjustments that will allow us to be able to have like the perfect solution for our brands, right? But for me, what that looks like after I've gone through analysis and assessment, I base things off of phases in my business. So when I'm working with a client, and this is for a singular offer, right? So I know that there's some designers and creatives out there who are probably listening, have multiple streams of income. And this is just applied to one of them. So what I do is I focus on phases in my business for clients, as well as their launch dates, right? I have found that for my clients to have the most time to give me what they need to give me, I need to finish things in a certain time frame when they become a client. And so what that allows me to do is perform the way that I've performed well under pressure. So that was a little bit of the analytics that I found out about myself. So because I want to operate in my strengths and optimize the time that my clients have to actually bring forth what I need to build their brands, I know that in phase one, I need to get this done in a certain time. In phase two, I need to get this done in a certain time. So I guess the longer answer to your question was, I'm suggesting that creatives look internally and find out what is going to be the best for their schedules and their lives, as well as still keeping their clients top of mind.
I love that. That is so good. And I think we could talk about that all day
Yeah.
long, but there are a few key points that I want to hit because I know that you talk a lot about consistent clients and pricing. And one of the things that I have found a lot of my audience has resistance to is niching. So have you found niching helps consistent sales, or do you find that it hurts the business, which I think is what everybody's scared of? If they niche too small, no one's going to hire them.
Yeah. I mean, I understand the fear behind it because it's just like, oh my gosh, like, but I want to be known as a graphic designer. I do all the things, right? And I think two very clear examples stand out for me. One, I think of myself as a creative director, right? Because I do more than just graphic and web design. I'm a strategist, I'm a coach. I help with photo shoots and all kinds of stuff with my clients. And they just weren't getting it. And so my coach at the time asked me to do ideal client interviews, right? Getting on the phone with women who you would just organically work with anyway and ask them a series of questions. And one of the questions was, do you resonate more with creative director or web designer when you're hiring someone to help you with your brand? And they said, Tiffany, I have no idea what the heck a creative director does. And so then I don't know what they can do for me. Right? So if it is not clear to your audience what you can do for them, then there's a problem. And I think niching solves that problem because it's not about us. Our clients are the hero. They wake up with this hero complex every single day, and they wake up with problems that need solutions in their business. So when we niche down from, say, I'm a graphic and web designer for women entrepreneurs, that's a niche. But when you say, and this is what I say when I'm introducing myself, that I am a rebrand and launch strategist who specializes in income generating web design for service-based brands. And even when I'm in front of an all women audience, I say that I service women-led service-based brands. So it's just very clear, right? And the clarity leads to them saying, you know what, I really do need them. So the clarity for me leads to the coin, just period, because they're very, very clear, for lack of better words, on what you can do for them.
Yes.
Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense.
Yes, that makes so much sense. And I think it's the clarity that is missing so often in, whatever creative business we're offering, because especially, we tend to be multi-passionate. We tend to want to do a whole bunch of different things. Exactly. And so we might say, I'm a web designer for any type of, female-led
Yep.
service-based business, right? Which
Yep.
is somewhat of a niche, but at the same time, if we can say, I work with, women who are launching courses or
Yep.
something much more
Yep.
specific like you
Yep.
do,
Yep.
then people go, oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's who I need because I can see where they are an expert. I can see where
Exactly.
they are offering the solution to my problem. And I can see why this is worth investing in versus just, a generic web designer who helps anybody and everybody and doesn't really have any clarity around anything besides I make websites, right? Like that's
Exactly.
not a very good, that doesn't make you want to hand your money over.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think also, like, when people think about niching, people think it makes them small, right? But I like to say it makes you specific, right? Just like you said, and specific services, specific offers lead to specific results, right? There's a promise that we are saying that we can deliver in our brands, and that promise should be led by specific offers based on your area of expertise, right? I think that we can we can think of it as being a big fish in a small pond, but being small yet specific in a niche allows for you to serve people better, even if it's a smaller amount, because when I fix a specific solution well, one, I'm able to charge more money, right? Because it's very, very detailed, right? I serve a specific person, a specific industry, and my promise is saying that I can deliver upon that, right? And so my testimonials are going to follow that, which allows me to operate in a higher price point, right? So if someone is afraid to niche down, think of it as you being able to increase your prices, right? Because you're being seen as someone who can fit only this mold for a specific person. And try not to think about it as one person, right? That one avatar that you have represents thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people. Yeah.
Yes, I love that. That's been my experience too. We have, similar businesses doing like web design and stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
Much more. I'm terrible at branding. I
Oh
hear
no,
that
don't
part out.
say that.
You are brilliant at it. But having that niche and being able to say, okay, if you want to sell, in my case, I help female entrepreneurs who sell digital products and courses, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I can know the ins and outs of that. I can know what platforms and options they have available.
Exactly.
I can know exactly like what kinds of solutions would work best based on their
Exactly.
needs. And that's something that
Mm-hmm.
you cannot do if you're just, trying to help anybody and everybody who might possibly come your way. And when
Exactly.
you can hone in on that messaging, yeah, you can charge those higher prices. You can charge, 5 figures for a website, even if it's not a super complicated website,
Right.
because what you're still offering is that very specific solution that you are an expert in and you are offering that clarity around. So that kind of, I think we've already covered like why
Exactly.
clarity is so important is because
Absolutely.
you become that expert. And when someone, even though, yeah, it might be a smaller pool of people, it's not a tiny pool of people.
Mm-hmm.
It's still smaller, but you are able to stand out there as opposed to just being lost in like this big, huge, gigantic world of whatever industry you're in. And they can see you and say, that is exactly what I need. Here is my credit card,
Exactly.
basically.
Exactly. Yeah. Clarity decreases confusion. And when people are confused, they don't buy.
No, they don't. And we have to be the experts because
Mm-hmm.
if they were the experts, they would not need to hire us.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes.
All right. So let's take that a little bit deeper. I know you talk about solution-based selling. So what does
Mm-hmm.
that mean exactly?
Um, Solution-based selling is really about internally the creative knowing what problem, right, their offer is creating a solution for. And so when I mention solution-based selling, it's really the opposite. We're really focusing on the pain points, the problems that not having X, whether it be a amazing website, good branding, amazing copywriting, whatever, right? What X saw, what pain is that causing someone right now? What are they not able to attain because they don't have your solution, the solution to their problem in their life and business? So when it relates to solution-based selling, when I teach it, it's kind of the opposite. And it is thinking with the end in mind. I don't know how many people have read, I think it's Stephen Covey's Successful Habits of Highly Effective People, I believe it's called. But one of the philosophies or principles is like to think with the end in mind. So when creative or operating in solution-based selling, it's starting at the beginning, starting with the client's problem, and then positioning their brand and their offers to only sell what is going to fix the solution. You mentioned earlier that sometimes, or you alluded to earlier that sometimes when you're charging those high rates, maybe high 4 or 5 figure rates, people feel like they have to add all of this stuff in there. The design has to be like 3D moving out from the screen or something like that. But it's not like, I've seen some of the highest paid web designs, and it'd be the simplest. But the thing about it is, it solved a problem. It created a solution and alleviated a pain point that their business was facing for their specific target audience.
I love that. And so I do want to mention for anybody listening who's not a web designer, Tiffany and I, this is what we do. So of course we get a little bit
it's
more
anybody.
focused on this, but it does work. Whatever service you're offering, you can look for that solution and you can offer it. And when you can solve your clients' problems, that's when you can sell much more easily, as well as charge those higher prices. So this is so good. I would love to know a little bit about your processes. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you do that? Hey there, really quick before we get back to the episode, if you want to create your own Successfully Simple business, you need to join my premium program. The Successfully Simple Shortcut is an intentionally small group program and community of service-based creative entrepreneurs who want to work less and live more. Inside the shortcut, you'll learn exactly how to implement the 5 pillars that are crucial to your success: support, simplify, sell, signature, and systematize. But not only that, you'll also get the support and the feedback that you need to truly define success on your own terms and move the needle in your business. This is not a course, it's a training and community to help your business thrive. Doors open a few times a year, so head to erinflynn.com/shortcut right now to join or to get on the waitlist and be first in line when the doors open again. That's erinflynn.com/shortcut. All right, now let's get back to the show.
So after looking inwardly, right? And a lot of my process, I should mention, come from extremely difficult clients. We all have them. We cannot avoid them. People are people. And I always say that on the way to finding your people, you will encounter those who are not, right? So it's just a part of business, unfortunately. But those difficult clients immensely changed the way that my business operates right now. So I teach and I live out the philosophy that there should be a balance of automated process and human touch in your process, right? I'm definitely afraid. Sorry, don't edit that out. I want people to hear that slip up. I am definitely afraid of sending an invoice automatically. That's just me. I want to make sure that every line is perfect, the price is correct, the payment structure is correct. But there are some things that I do automate in my business. So I have email templates that are just that are standard across the board. So when someone reaches out to me for a consultation, they're directed to my CRM and they receive a series of automated template emails. But then also I have human touch templates that allow me to go into a library of sorts and pull out responses that I frequently get, right? So how much are your services? How do I work with you? And then when I'm onboarding a client, I have a library of templates that I plug and play into to make sure that they are all experiencing a streamlined process that I know gives them the human touch that they're looking for. Because I charge 5 figures now for my services. And I know that my clients need that. They need to feel that they're not talking to a robot. They need to feel that they're investing, because there's just, I'm going to be real, I don't care how much money I make. Like swiping your card for 10, 20, $30,000, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, girl, what are we doing here? Right? So I immediately want to make sure that they feel served and seen in their investment. And then I carry out the rest of my process on Trello, which is a big part of the way that I interact with clients, because it allows me to deliver their entire outline of their project, so they know right off the top what they're getting into. They know that, because this is something that is streamed across industries, but specifically, I've heard it across the web design and graphic design business, that designers go AWOL. They don't respond quick enough. You don't know where they are with your project. You know what I mean? I spent my money and they went ghost. So I want to make sure that my clients who are investing in themselves, but also paying me for a service, because we get that mixed up. They're not investing in me. They're investing in themselves, right? But they're paying me. So with that interaction, I want to make sure that they feel the weight of that investment in everything that I deliver. And that's really how I've shaped my processes.
I love kind of like how you, and of course, this is, again, I'm going to have to have you back on the show for like 3 other conversations. I think we'll talk about processes. We'll talk about all sorts of things.
Yeah.
But I think having those processes, of course, at any level, but especially at like a higher level, you need to have them like really solidly in place, because clients who are investing, thousands of dollars they need to be treated very well. They need to know what to expect. They need to be taken care of. And yes, the web design industry specifically has a horrible reputation of just disappearing on clients.
Yes.
It's a real problem. And even sometimes when we are not disappearing, we are perceived to be, because first of all, people have that, idea that we're going to, and two, we might be working on a project, but a lot of web designers not really great at communication. So having those processes in place, and I love, like you said, email templates and having everything kind of ready to go, really prevents that from happening. It keeps your clients from getting antsy. It helps them understand what's happening, and you don't have to sit down and write every single email every single time. You just have to have a library, like you said, that you can pull out, which I think is so good for anyone, especially who struggles with client communication, which, I mean, I think a lot of us, again, it's very prominent in the web design industry, but I think any creatives, sometimes we just get so caught up in what we're doing that we forget, oh yeah, I should probably tell my client that I'm working on their project. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think also that, and when I say we, these are things that I struggle with before, and tend to struggle with periodically in my business, is that sometimes I forget that I'm just not, that I'm not just a creative, right? I'm the CEO of my business, right? So CEOs handle their businesses in specific ways, that there has to be a business side to your creativity at all times. And I think that contributes to consistently seeing clients, because you become a reputable business, right? And so if you are servicing clients well, you are increasing the effectiveness of the processes in your business, you are consistently getting client results, and caring about what pains them. It just allows so much more space and opportunity for your brand to grow, for your price point to increase, and for your voice to be amplified in your expertise.
So good. All right. We are coming up on time, and we did already touch, I know, so fast. I believe that we hit all of the major points, and I'm just going to have you back again so we can do a deeper dive into some of these topics, because this was so good. But I know that your Instagram is full of incredible information, and I know your website is gorgeous. Everybody should go check it out. But where can we find and follow you online? What are the best places to connect with you?
The best place for me is Instagram, always on there at the Emma Rose Agency. And then you can always check out my website, theemmaroseagency.com. Those are the two main places where I hang out.
Awesome. I will make sure those links are in the show notes. Thank you so much for joining us today. This has been a blast. And like I said, you're going to have to be a repeat guest because there are so many great things I want to dive deeper with you on.
Oh, absolutely. I'll look forward to it.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks so much for tuning in. Any links mentioned in this episode will be included in the show notes. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe on whatever platform you like to listen to podcasts on. And if you really enjoyed the show, please take 2 minutes to leave me a review so that others can find the show and create their own successfully simple business. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next episode.